Heidi ho, my crafty friends. This is Lori at the Ladybug Journals. Thank you for joining me today. I hope all is well. I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome our 3 new subscribers to the channel. Welcome, welcome. A great big ladybug flutter to you. Thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoy today's video. We're going to keep working on this little mini journal that we're working on. I got the buttons on there, to help with the cover, and here's the spine. It's all ready to go, but we haven't got our signature sewed in yet. I'm still working on some of the pages, so I thought I would share with you what I've done so far and the page I'm working on today. So if you'll remember, I told you each of the signatures has an envelope of some sort in them. So I decided that I wanted to cover this envelope before I got it in into the signature. So what I've done is, for this project, you're going to need a 2-inch punch. You're going to need some vellum paper, some vellum, some of the plastic, like from that you get stickers in, like this, that crunchy stuff that makes that crunchy sound that we all like to hear. Some cereal plastic, like that I always glue on. Anything that's going to be able to show through your hole. You're going to need a small picture. I cut mine out of our favorite book, that we harvest our flowers from. This one, the Floral Finder, from the American Horticultural Society. That's one of my favorite books to get my pictures out of. Just some scrap pieces of paper to cover your signature. Maybe some scissors for trimming. I've got my scissors here, and whatever glue you'd like to use to glue down your vellum with. So I've already done one side to show you what it's going to look like. And that's what it's going to look like. It gives you a nice soft, the vellum paper gives you a nice soft look with your picture. Now, what does happen is it throws the envelope off. So you're going to have to, you'll do some final trimming of the envelope. So don't panic if when you go start folding your envelope back, you notice that it's no longer straight. It's got, a couple of wampadoodles on it. Don't panic. We're going to trim it back. So you're going to take your envelope. Now it needs to, fit into your journal. And mine's just a regular little letter size envelope. Like, I don't even know what size they are anymore. Whatever letter size envelope is, and it is 6.5 inches long and 3 inches wide. So that's letter size envelope in the US. And I took my 2-inch punch and I just went down from the top like this, with the paper. And I highly suggest you decide what paper you want there first. This side I did not. And then I had to take the paper and I had to take my paper and line it up and then cut the paper separate. I don't suggest that you do that because, as you can see, after I cut it, it was off kilter. So I'm going to have to deal with that. So I highly suggest that you go on and put your paper on and punch them as one unit. Okay? So take your punch and you put it on and you center it the best that you can center it. Now, you want to make sure that these flaps are open. Your side flaps are open. Okay? Because you don't want to punch through them. And I even sliced through mine. But that's okay. So you want to center it the best that you can. And then you want to take your 2-inch punch in as far as it will go. So that's as far down as mine will go. Okay, so I put mine in like this. I put it in from the top and I pushed it in as far as it would go. I didn't stop. to take a nibble, I just pushed it all the way down. Okay, and then I punched. And these are the nice circles that I got. Okay, now, if you've ever looked at the inside of an envelope, they have some really cool patterns on them. So those are the circles that I punched out. Now, now that you've got it punched, now on the inside, we're going to add your vellum. Okay, that's the next step. You're going to take your vellum and you're going to line it up. Now, whatever you're using, whether it's the vellum, the crinkly paper, whatever you're using, the the transfer paper, whatever it is, now's the time you're going to add it. It goes next, and mine needs trimmed here a little bit. And make sure that it doesn't interfere with this part of your fold. If it does, trim it off a little bit on the bottom. Mine's just a hair too long. So I'm going to give it a little bit of a haircut here. And you don't want it interfering with your fold. See where mine's going to fold? You don't want it interfering with that fold. And you want it to come up to the top, but you don't want it to interfere down here. Okay, mine's not interfering there. Mine's not going to interfere where I fold here, and it's not going to interfere there. So I'm ready to go. I can glue it down. So I'm going to put glue across the top, and this glue is so cold today. He does not like being cold. Make sure you go around your circle. Okay, you want to go around the circle. Let me pull my sleeves up here. You want to go around the circle, and then you want to fill in the square, because you don't want anything to get in the way of this, okay? You want this to be down flat. Okay, so now you're going to put this in, and you're going to make sure there's nothing on it, and your fingers don't have glue on it. You're going to start at the bottom, and you're going to make sure that your circle's covered. Take your fingers, go around the circle, just like that. Okay? Anything on the side, you push up. Anything at the bottom, you push over. Okay? Now, anything that's too much is going to come out here. And that's okay. That's okay. Okay? So now you've got your picture. Now you've got your circle covered. Now you're going to take your picture, and you're going to do the same thing. You're going to decide where you want it. In here. And I want mine there. Just like that. And you're going to mark it. Okay, so now I need to mark this before I can cut it. So I need to sit it down, and I need to keep my flaps out, but I need to sit it down, and I need to make sure it's where I want it. Use a pencil, use a pen, use whatever you need to use. You don't want it coming over the top. So I'm going to mark the top of it, and I'm going to mark the edge of it. I'm going to fold these in so I can see the edge of it. Okay, because that's going to be cut off, so I'm not worried about it. So there are my lines right there. Now take your paper trimmer, okay, and you're going to trim on the inside of those lines. Okay, let me show you what I mean. Here's my little guitar string. There's the inside of my line. Can you see that line that I drew with my pen? Let me see if I can show you. Here's my pen line right there. I'm going to cut to the inside of it because I don't want this. That's the top of my page. I'm going to cut just to the inside of it on all of them. Okay. Now I'm not going to take a big chunk. I'm just going to take a little chunk. But I'm going to cut right to the inside of it. And then I'm going to look at it again. Now I'm not worried about the length of it yet. I just need to make sure that it's going to fit inside my space. Okay, so that can be put away. So now I need to look here on the back. Okay, does this fit in my space? Right here's my fold. Okay, it's still a little bit too wide over here. So I can take this and I can mark. I think I can probably take it off right there. What about down here? Okay, down here I'm good. So I still need to take off a little bit over here. Okay. Now, let's center it in here. And let's make sure that it's not hanging over. Let's come back here. Here's my fold. All right, I need to scooch over a little bit here, little guy. Here's my fold. Now let's look around front. And let's make sure I bring it down. Okay, so I need to glue up here a little bit. Okay, so that's where I need to glue it. Right there. But I need to put some glue up here first, because I missed it. Let's put some glue there. Now I'm going to keep my fingers on this, and I'm going to run a bead of glue right across the top. And I'm going to put the top of my picture down. Okay, now before my glue dries, I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to double check. Yep, there's my butterfly. Okay, so I'm good. So I can lift this up. And I'm using Bearly Art glue right now. And that's the one thing I do like about it. It gives me a minute to get things where I want them to be. And since I pulled it up, I've got to do this all over again. All right, here. Now, let me make sure I've got it where I want it, right there. Okay, so now I've got my picture in my window. I need to make sure that everything's glued down. Okay? Make sure that all your edges are down on everything. This is very important. Because as you're taking things in and out of your envelope, you don't want them catching on your picture. Now, if you wanted, you could cover this completely. If you wanted to, you could completely cover this. That's up to you. Completely up to you. Now, let's turn this over and let's cover the outside. Now, you don't have to cover the outside. You don't have to. You can leave it just like it is. I inked it. I don't have to cover it. I can just decorate it if I want. And I may choose to do that after I get my envelope put back together. I may just say, you know what? It's going to be on the other side of my journal, and this is cut awkward. I may not do it. So let's put the envelope back together. Take your flaps and you want to put them in. Okay, now this is the one that I cut when I was trimming it. Okay, so I need to fix this. So to do that, if that happens to you, don't panic. We can fix it. Oh, here's what I'm looking for. Okay, grab you a piece of washi tape, and I'm just want my neutral here. Okay, just grab you a piece of washi tape. Okay, and you wanted a piece of the same length as this. So you wanted that length, okay? And we're going to open it up, and we're going to take our glue stick, and we're just going to run our glue stick down, and we're going to lay this down. And we're just going to put this right back together. Just like that. Okay. So now we're back together. So all I need to do is trim that off here. Okay. So now I can put my envelope back together. Okay, let's trim this little piece off down here at the bottom. There we go. Now that's not all the way straight, is it? So let's see if we can get this straight. Let's see if we can get that straight. There we go. And that's okay. I'm not worried about that piece. As long as that's straight, so I can get my envelope back together. And you can even cut that off. Take this white piece off and just use the washi tape if you want. Okay, so I've got those put in. I'm going to bring this back up. And I'm going to ink mine here. So I need my ink. And I need this. And I'm going to do both sides. Okay, and I'm going to do up here also. And I'm going to do this side. There we go. Okay, so now I'm inked, so I don't have any little white spots hanging out. Now, if you want to round your corners on any of them, now's the time to do it. And you guys know I'm going to round my corners, don't you? Now, this is getting kind of thick, so I might have to bring out the big guy. I'm going to have to bring out my big boy because this is a little bit too thick for the little guy. There we go. Yeah, he doesn't work real well on the thin paper. He doesn't do that real well on the thin paper. There. Okay. Corners are rounded. Excellent. Yep. We're not even here. So let's round those so we're even. And let's get that one even. Okay, so now we're going to glue our edges. Now, this is what I mean by I'm not even here. So, I'm going to make that even. And make sure, so to make it even, and most likely I did it when I was taking it apart. Most likely that's what I did. All right, so we're going to use this guy again. And we're going to go through all of them. All right, so I'm going to have to use, I'm going to use this glue to put him together. Yep, I just cut off the whole tab. So we're going to use washi tape. Remember I told you could use washi tape? Well, that's what I'm going to use because I just cut off this whole piece right here. So I'm going to show you how to fix your envelope using washi tape because I just cut the whole thing off. So I'm going to cut this one off. So if you do like I just did, get you out a piece of washi tape. Good gravy. Cut it to the length of your envelope. Have you ever had a day like today where everything you do, it just doesn't work? Okay. And I'm going to put glue here. And I'm just using my neutral washi tape. That's all I'm doing. I'm going to put it there. I'm going to bring it around. Now, if you want this on the inside, you can do the exact same thing on the inside. But since it's so neutral, I'm just going to leave it here on the outside. Okay. Now, I'm going to do the same thing over here. Now, you could also use a decorative washi tape if you wanted. You don't have to use this. And you could use two separate ones because you're not going to see these two halves. Let me show you what I mean. This is going to wrap around. Like, I'm going to use a different one. I'm going to use a different one on this side because these are going to wrap around in my book. So I'm not going to see these because I'm going to have multiple pages between them. And unless I look for this, I'm not going to see it. So I'm going to put this one here. And that way this will be a decoration over here. It'll be part of the decorating on this side. Get it cut off here. Okay, now I just need to decide how I want to complete the decorating. Now, this folds like this. Okay. All right, I want to use this. I'm just going to use my fingertip to go here in the middle. Now, this is where it's going to be sewed. Right here is where it's going to be sewed into the book. Okay, so let me show you what I mean by going around pages. So this is going to go, this is going into my book. Here's another page that I did. This was just one of the strips that I used when I made my cover. When I made this cover, this was one of the cutoff strips. And that I had left. So I just made it a little flip. And I might cover the back of it, but I don't think I'm going to. And then I put one of those little pockets there. And so that little envelope I think I'm going to put, now do I want it in here? Let's see. That one's got the big envelope. So I think I'm going to put it in this one. So I think I'm going to put it right here in this one. So it's going to go here. Like, yeah, I think I want it to go like this. So it's going to go here, and it's going to wrap around all those pages. So it's going to go there, and it's going to, I can put, so now it's a little pocket. So I have all these other pages. Here's the tea bag that I told you that I covered in that previous background one that we did. So it's ready to be stamped on. And this is the other side of it. Here are the rest of the pages. Here's this side of it with the tea leaves. Yeah, it turned out really nice. And then here's the back side of the journal, of the envelope, I mean. And it's another little pocket. Now, since it doesn't have a circle, I can go on and do that. And there's the circle on that side. And since this side doesn't have a circle, I can go on and give it the little punch. Because once they get sewed into the book, they're very difficult to do that with. So now, these pages are coming together very nicely. Or I can move that to the front, but I already have this up front. Okay. So now all I have left to do is my stamping on that page, if I choose to do it. So that's ready to go. So our signatures are coming along very nicely, and they're getting very chunky. So here's how they're going to look in the book. Let me get the other one here so I can show you. So this one, this is a flip out, and I just made a little, I can't think of what it's called. Oh my gosh. I just went bloop, bloop in my brain. But I put that on here. Now this page goes right here. I'll think of it. Okay. And this goes here. So this little signature goes in here. Okay. So these signatures go in this book like this. That's how these signatures go. So they're all different sizes. They're going to have all different things decorated on them. Now, the whole book isn't going to be decorated, but I wanted to get some of the backgrounds done on them before we put them in the book, because it's hard doing some of the background things that we like on pages once they're in the book, especially if it's wet or if you're punching, you know, things like that. And then this is the cover of the book. It's going to go like this. This is the cover of the book. And then coming down the spine, we're going to do buttons down the spine. So that's the cover of the book. And I'm thinking it's going to be, the cover might get trimmed a little bit, because I don't like this. I want this to end at the yellow right there. So I think the book is a little bit too wide. The cover's a little bit too wide. So I think I'm going to have to trim it down. So I think the cover has to be trimmed a little bit, because it goes like this. So this gets trimmed down, either that or I add lace up here. I add a piece of lace or something else to the front of it. But that's how it goes. And I'm just about ready to sew these signatures into the book. But that's how the book is going to go. And then we're going to be working in the book and having some fun on the rest of the pages. So there we go. There's our little mini journal. And she's about ready to get her pages sewed in and have some fun. So, I'm so glad you joined me today here at the craft table. And I'm so glad that we got to have some fun together. And I hope you come back and join me again. And I hope you have a great week and a great time. So let me show you some of the things that we did today and some of the adventures that we had. So I've decorated this page in this signature, and in this page, let me find it here. This page has gotten decorated in that signature. And then in this page, we did the circles on the envelopes to make pockets. So now we have pockets. So I'm thinking the next time we need to start making maybe some tags and some ephemera for this small little journal, so that we can start adding that to it when we're ready, or maybe just sew in the signatures and have some fun that way. So thank you again for joining me here. I'm so glad that you did. And I hope that you join me again around the craft table. And until I see you again in our next video, ta-ta for now.